Hey, I'm sorry. I just want to do another Purim teaching that my mom wants me to do about Purim is about. So, yeah. So So in the Bible of Esther, as you can see, so King Xerxes ruled over the 127 territories in his kingdom. And in the third year of his rule, King Xerxes gave a big dinner for his nobles and officials. The military leaders of Persia and Media were there. So were the princes and the nobles of the territories he ruled over. And when those days were over, the king gave another big dinner. It lasted for 7 days. It was held in the garden of the king's courtyard. And his first queen, Queen Vashti, she gave a big dinner, but only for women were invited. And it was held in the royal palace of King Xerxes. So the king gave a command to the 7 officials. He told them to bring Queen Vashti to him, and he wanted her to come wearing her royal crown, and he wanted to show off her beauty to the people and nobles. She was lovely to look at. And what should I do to Queen Vashti? She hasn't obeyed my command. And they all say King Xerxes commanded Queen Vashti to be brought to him, but she wouldn't come. So this is a rebellious Israel. And also let her position as queen be given to someone who is better than she is. And then later on, the anger of King Xerxes calmed down. Then he remembered Vashti and what she had done. And King Xerxes let a search be made for some beautiful young virgins for you. Haggai was put in charge of the virgins. And then let the one who pleases you the most become queen in Vashti's place. There was a Jew living in the safest place in Susa. He was from the tribe of Benjamin, and his name is Mordecai. And he was the son of Jar. Jar was the son of Shemi. Shemi was the son of Kish. And do you know why Mordecai and Esther were in Susa? Because Rebekah had forced Mordecai to leave Jerusalem, and that's why they're there. And that's why they were in Susa. And then Mordecai had a cousin named Hadassah, which is my name for sure. And he had brought her up in his own home. Hadassah was also called Esther, and she was very beautiful. And Mordecai had adopted her as his own daughter. Then after the king's order and law were announced, many virgins were brought to the safest place in Susa. Haggai was put in charge of them. Esther was also taken to the king's palace, and she was put under the control of Haggai. He was in charge of the place where the virgins stayed. He appointed 7 female attendants to help her. They were chosen from the king's palace, and Esther hadn't told anyone who her people were. That's because Mordecai had told her not to. Each virgin had to complete 12 months of booty care. They used oil of myrrh for 6 months and they used perfume and makeup for the other 6 months. Her turn came to go in to the king. She only asked for what Haggai existed, and she was taken to King Xerxes in the royal house, and he made her queen in Vashti's place. And then the king gave a big dinner. It was in honor of Esther. And all of his nobles and officials were invited. He announced a holiday all through the territories he ruled over. Esther had kept her family history a secret. She hadn't told anyone who her people were. Mordecai had told her not to. And then Bigthana and Teresh were two of the king's officers. They guarded, they wanted to kill the king. Yeah, they made their evil plans to kill the king. And also Mordecai was in a corner listening. Mordecai was sitting at the palace gate listening. Yeah, I'm just giving along through the Bible. King Xerxes honored Haman. Haman is the son of Hammedatha. He was from the family line of Agag. So Haman was from the family line of the Amalekites, which is the descendants of Esau, back in Genesis. So back in Genesis, you know that Isaac and Rebekah, back in the story of Isaac and Rebekah, Rebekah gave birth to two nations, which is Esau, and another is Jacob. So Esau became angry because Jacob took away Esau's birthright, and that's why Esau became very angry, because he didn't get that blessing from his father Isaac, and he wanted to kill Jacob. But Jacob, because Rebekah told Jacob to run away to Laban and stay there for a while, and he saw Rachel, his love in first sight, at the well. He saw Rachel, and then Jacob loved Rachel instead of Leah. Yeah, so Rachel gave birth to Joseph and to Benjamin, and then from that tribe of Benjamin, from the son of Rachel, he was a tribe. So Benjamin is a tribe from that time, and that's where Mordecai and Esther came from that tribe. And then Haman was on the other side of Esau, and all the Amalekites and his descendants. So yeah, I think that's a part of the story, I guess. Yeah. So and the lot was cast in front of Haman. That was done to choose a day and a month. It was the 12th year that Xerxes was king. It was in the first month. That was the month of Nisan. The lot chose the 12th month. That was the month of Adar. The lot was also called Pur. Yeah, so Pur means lots. So you know. And then, let's see. And then, so the king took his ring off his finger, and then the ring had his royal seal on it. He gave the ring to Haman, the Agagite, and let's see, that day, so all of the Jews were supposed to be killed on a single day. That day was the 13th day of the 12th month. It was the month of Adar. Mordecai talks Esther into helping the Jews, but Esther sent for Hatak. He was one of the king's eunuchs. She had appointed to take care of her. She ordered him to find out what was troubling Mordecai. She wanted to know why he was so upset. But 30 days have gone by since the king sent for me. That's Esther's, what Esther said. Then Esther sent a reply to Mordecai. She said, "Go gather together all of the Jews who were in Susa, and fast for my benefit. Don't eat or drink anything for 3 days. Do not do it night or day. I and my attendants will fast just as you do. Then I will go to the king." And then on the 3rd day, Esther put her royal robes on. She stood in the inner courtyard of the palace. It was in front of the king's hall. So this is the first banquet that Esther threw for the king and Haman. Esther said, "And I hope you will be pleased to listen to my appeal. If you are, I would like you and Haman to come tomorrow to the big dinner I will prepare for you. Then I'll answer your question." And Haman brags about being invited to Esther's dinner. And then Haman's wife Zeresh building a gallows 75 feet above the ground for Mordecai, because he hated Mordecai, because he didn't even bow, because Mordecai didn't bow to Haman. Yeah. And the king honors Mordecai. Have your servants get a royal robe you have worn. Have them bring a horse you have ridden on. Have a royal crest placed on his head. Then give the robe and horse to one of your most noble princes. Then let the robe be put on the man you want to honor. So I think that's Haman's reply to the king. Yeah. And this is what is done for the man the king wants to honor, which is Mordecai. Let's see. And then King Xerxes asked Queen Esther, who is this man who has dared to do such a thing, and where he is? Esther said, "The man hates us. He is our enemy. He is this evil Haman." And then Haman was terrified in front of the king and queen. Then the king got up. He was burning with anger. But Haman realized that the king had already decided what he was going to do to Haman. And then Haman decided to stay behind to beg the Queen Esther, to beg Queen Esther for his life. Yeah. And then the king returned from the palace garden, and just then he saw Haman falling on the couch where Esther was laying. And he was hanged on the gallows where he built for Mordecai. Esther had told the king that Mordecai was her cousin, not his uncle, but his cousin. Yep. Now he gave the ring from Haman to Mordecai. And Esther put Mordecai in charge of everything Haman had owned. and then the city of Susa celebrated with great joy. And the Jews win the battle over their enemies. Then Haman's 10 sons were also hanged too. The Jews in Susa came together on the 14th day of the month of Adar. It happened on the 13th of Adar. On the 14th day they rested. They made it a day to celebrate with great joy, and they enjoyed good food. Purim is celebrated. The days the Jews were celebrating were called Purim. Purim comes from the word pur. Pur means lot. Now the Jews celebrate those 2 days every year. They do it because of everything that was written in Mordecai's letter. And he spoke up for the benefit of all of the Jews. Yeah, and I think that's it of the story of Esther in the Bible. So, yeah, so I think you know the deeper meaning of Purim in that, what I just read to you, and I hope you can celebrate Purim as well next year. So I'll see you at my next video of Rosh Hashanah that I will do soon. Yeah, Rosh Hashanah is coming up next week on Wednesday, so hopefully I'll do it soon. So yeah, so I'll see you then. Shalom.